Wow. With my thumbnail, it looks like I just entered a 90s photo magazine. Oh boy. Okay, so I just got out of the theater from seeing the 3D immersive experience event that is Avatar: Fire and Ash. And yes, I got the popcorn bucket. I even got a poster. Forgot to bring it up here, but I did get a poster. Um, so, yeah. So I just saw 19 hours ago. I just saw Avatar: Fire and Ash. This is the third film in the Avatar franchise. And I'm gonna admit, I got into the Avatar fandom a little late in the game. I didn't get into these movies until, like, about maybe a year after Way of Water came out. So, like, sorry for the background noise, guys. I didn't get into this series maybe, like, fall or maybe winter of, like, 2023. So, like, maybe, like, a little bit of a year later since the second came out. And the reason why, for the longest amount of time, I kind of made fun of these movies. I kind of mocked them. And this is me not knowing what the films were about. I just thought they were like Teenage Mutant Ninja Smurfs. That's what I saw. So for the longest time, I mocked these films without actually seeing them. And for the longest time, I just kind of made fun of them. Then I actually had the chance to watch them, because I was bored one day and had nothing to do. So I had the chance to watch both films on Disney Plus eventually. And I kind of liked it. That was my instant taste of reality of, oh shit, these movies are actually good. Because for the longest time, I kind of made fun of them. I thought they were terrible, even though I had never actually seen them. And it wasn't until actually when I watched those movies where I was like, oh, I see why people love these movies. Now, I feel kind of shitty by making fun of them, especially for films I had never actually seen. And it wasn't until after I saw Wave Water where I said, you know what? I'm gonna go see the next one whenever it hits theaters. It's gonna be a movie where I'm gonna have to go see it eventually, no matter what. So, after days of postponing, I meant to go see this on Thursday, but then we had a weather advisory where I am at. And I said, fuck that shit, I'm going. So I decided to wait until, like, maybe later this weekend. And especially when I actually had time to go see it. Because these movies are, like, 3.5 hours long. So I just went through and sat through this movie. And I'm gonna say, I enjoyed this movie, but I do think it's the weaker one. So I want to say, I want to give my thoughts and opinions on 1 and 2 before I even say it. 1, I thought was just amazing. I thought it was a fucking fantastic movie. Then I saw 2, and in some retrospects, I actually liked 2 better. In 2, we got to see the water tribe of the Na'vi. And I thought that was really cool. And I loved, too, how they used that film's time-wise. I thought it was kind of cool, where we got to have, like, an hour and a half of, like, focusing on the story and an hour and a half of just showing us the new Na'vi tribe and showing us the way of the water. And I really thought the water was really beautiful in that scene, in that film. I thought how they did that in that film was just so good. And that's when I realized these movies aren't really meant for Disney. These movies are like Disney Plus. These movies are not meant to just stream it on Disney Plus. These are movies to actually experience on the big screen. And I was right. So, yeah. But yeah. So, and because of that, I honestly thought Way of Water was, in my opinion, the best film of the two. I honestly thought Way of Water was better than the first film. Now we have the new one, Avatar: Fire and Ash. I like this movie. I think it's good. It keeps us... It still has that nice Avatar style where it still is giving you that nice graphics. It's still giving you pretty much everything you want to see in an Avatar movie. The story's kind of weak though, and I do kind of agree with some people. The story for these movies aren't the greatest. They really aren't. I think it's mainly the breathtaking visuals and effects that are what makes these movies enjoyable to watch. And I'm just gonna say it, I just got out of the theater watching this. I just got out of the theater. I just unpacked everything. So, like, I just watched it upon recording. I can tell you what the plot for the first film is. I can tell you what the plot for the second film is. I cannot tell you what the plot for this is. This plot is very mumbo-jumboed. It's... Now we have evil Na'vi, the Fire Tribe. We have that. And we get to meet the Fire Queen. And she's a really cool character. I thought she was a really cool, well-developed character. Only problem is, she's not in the film that much. And there are moments, too, and she's also teamed up with Colonel Cortridge, who was also in the first two movies. Cortridge, who died in 1 and 2, he comes back in this. He's gonna come back in the fourth. But Quaritch teams up with the Fire Queen. And when that happens, I really can't tell what the plot is anymore. Because after we know about the Fire Tribe and we know what happens there, the movie just switches gears and it goes, oh, yep, now it's Jake Sully versus Quaritch. Again. Have fun. And it's like, I don't think we need to see this again. Okay. I'm like, if we... Look, I would have loved it if they kept it where... Here's what I think should have worked. Is that you have the Fire Queen as the villain, and then you have, unexpectedly, Quaritch and Jake and Neytiri, all of them team up because they have no choice. That's what I think would have made this movie better, because then at least it would be different. This is not different. It's sort of the same rather rinse repeat sort of deal. And it's kind of so disappointing. Because I really would have liked to know more about the Fire Queen, except for the fact that she isn't in it much. I'm assuming they're going to do more with her in the fourth film. But, like, even then, your movie's called Fire and Ash. I would think you would have had more time with her in this. You would think you would have more time with her in this. But whatever. yeah. But, yeah, I think that's sort of where my little, I guess, key criticism is of this. Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana, they both come back as Jake Sully and Neytiri. And they're both really good. Zoe Saldana, despite that Emilia Perez situation, she is a really good actress. And I like almost anything that she's in. Whether she's in this, whether she's in the MCU, she'll always deliver a good performance. Depends on what movie she's in, but still. And yeah. But yeah, and then we also have like, because almost every character from the second film comes back. We have them. We have Nero Tiem, Loak, and Kiri. They're all back in this. But yeah. I really do like... Okay, I want to say something. I really do like Sigourney Weaver as Kiri. I liked her in all of these movies, but still, I liked her as Kiri. It's kind of interesting because when I first saw Avatar: Way of Water, I will admit, Sigourney Weaver as Kiri did kind of fool me. The reasoning why, when I first saw Way of Water, I didn't even realize that was Sigourney Weaver playing Kiri. I didn't even realize it was Sigourney Weaver playing Kiri until I watched, like, the making of Featurette. So, like, yes, I'll admit, a 70, I think she's in her 70s, I'm not too sure, but, like, a 70-ish-year-old woman playing a 14-year-old girl did fool me. So... That is kind of... And I think it works, too, because she is technically Grace's clone. So, I think because of that, it did sort of work there. But... Oh, speaking of Kiri, I should probably talk about that father situation, should I? So, in the second film, we had, I guess, sort of continuous story arc where we had Kiri. She was trying to figure out who her dad was. Because to her, she knew that Grace was her mom, and for the longest time in the film, she was trying to figure out who her dad was. And Jake and Neytiri also knew this. They were trying to help her figure out who her dad was. Guess what? Jake and Neytiri just say, "Oh yeah, you're a clone." Yeah. So, and here's what I thought. I thought in the third film, we were going to explore more of who her father was. And then they just draw the bombshell of like, "Oh yeah, you're a clone." So we had that big old question mark that was sort of a big deal in the second film just be one simple sentence in this. "Oh yeah, you're a clone. You don't have a dad." Would have been nice to know. Now I've been wanting to know the answer to a question that's now kind of pointless. So there was that bombshell that dropped on me. So thanks. But yeah, look, I will say this. This movie was the first movie that I did see in 3D. And I will say this, my money wasn't wasted. I did love the 3D effects in this. This is the first movie I saw in 3D. So this is sort of why I was also excited for this, because I had never seen a movie in 3D. So I was kind of excited to see how this one was going to go. And I loved it. I fucking loved the 3D in this. I really did enjoy it. I was literally... The 3D in this movie is so good to the point where I almost thought the water was going to splash onto the theater. Like, I will say this, the 3D is fucking impressive. So, yeah. Like, I don't know. There's not really much to say. I mean, I loved it. It's an enjoyable movie. It's an enjoyable sequel. It just is a little disappointing in some aspects. I do think this is the weaker one in the franchise. But I'm not saying it's terrible. It isn't. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's a good film. I enjoyed it. I had a blast with this 3.5 hours. I'm just saying, this one probably isn't my favorite. I think Way of Water is still on top of the tier with that. But I'm not saying it's terrible either. I enjoyed it. This is probably not the best. So, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what else I want to talk about. Like, I don't know. Like, the 3D effects are just amazing, especially in the scene, too, where Quaritch, like, he... this sounds so wrong. He puffs this dust that the Fire Queen gives him. It sounds so bad. It's not what you think it is, but it's sort of the same thing. To the point where Quaritch gets this weird high. It's sort of like Na'vi heroin. So, and in that scene, he sort of gets high, this weird high, and like we have the colors going weird rainbowish colors. And man, that was a trip to see in 3D. That was something to see in 3D. But yeah. But I don't know, guys. I enjoyed it. Again, not the best one in this series, but it's still good. And yeah, I don't know. Not much else I could say. Are you a fan of the Avatar franchise? And did you like Avatar Fire and Ash? Or were you met on it? Or did it piss you off for some reason? Let me know down in the comments below. And are you excited for Avatar 4? Which is coming out in 4 years, in 2029. Crazy to say. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.